Welcome to the bottom of the glass. Pour yourself something to drink, relax, and let's talk music. More specifically, this new project from Sremmurd, Sremm for Life. Opening up on this bad boy, you've got Origami, which is a solid intro, nice catchy melodies from Sway Lee, and I found myself waiting for the inevitable "my money folds like origami" line, which made it satisfying when he delivered. Moving into Royal Flush, I was looking forward to the Thugger feature. Unfortunately, it was the only thing good about this song, and it was too short of a feature too. Thug shines on here with the usual energy you would expect. Sway and Jimmy both come in with some pretty generic flows though. Mississippi Slide has the same issues. It's a skip, pretty boring flows. Not So Bad, though, has an interpolation of Stand by Eminem, which is a creative and really cool idea on paper. In reality, this just didn't quite hit for me. Sway sounds out of his element on it, and it really just made me want to listen to Stan. This is just outright worse, and it's a shame because it could have been really good. Tanisha has a repetitive hook that is supposed to be catchy, but just isn't. It's a skip, and at this point in the album, I was getting pretty bored. But then Bend Your Knees comes in and saves the day. This is the best song on the album so far, with a catchy but simple beat. The piano and heavy bass just work great together, and Sway and Jimmy both do their thing on here to make a sexy banger. It also has my favorite line on the album: "I left a little tip, and that's a whole Prius." Made me chuckle. Going into Activate, I was excited for the only other feature on here. Unfortunately, Future delivers a phoned-in verse, and Sway and Jimmy don't do any better. Flaunt It Cheap is the best song by a wide margin on this project. Slim Jimmy comes through with his best verse rapping on here about the various girls in his life, but this track really kicks in with a sexy, sexy little beat switch on here. Alright, Sway comes in with the catchiest flows on the album, rapping about his money and the women he's with not liking cheap men. It's just a really, really solid banger. That's going in the playlist. Sexy is a decent cut on here. It's fairly catchy, but personally I don't really care to hear Sremmurd talk about how sexy they are for 3 minutes. It kind of gives me Way Too Sexy by Drake vibes, but without the memeability. YMCA is okay. For the young homies like YMCA and Throwing It Up like it's YMCA are both pretty funny lines. The next 3 songs are all completely forgettable. You can just skip them. The closing track, however, has a much different sound sonically and lyrically from the rest of the project, and could have been a standout, but unfortunately, just because it's different, doesn't make it good. The whole project long is basic rhymes about sex and money and how great life is, only to come in at the very end and talk about their emotions and pain. It just doesn't fit on here. In closing, I was pleased at first glance by this project. 14 tracks at 47 minutes and only 2 features keep it from being one of those hour, 20-minute, feature-heavy, ultra-deluxe albums that is obviously just an attempt to throw a bunch of tracks at the wall and see what sticks. But unfortunately, what is on here just doesn't stick. What I'm looking for in a Sremmurd album is those catchy melodic hooks that Sway Lee is so well known for, and for Jimmy to come through with some good verses in between. Overall, nothing is downright bad, but it's just forgettable. So much of this thing sounds phoned in, like it was the first flow they thought of. There's a few bangers on here, being Origami, Bend Your Knees, and Flaunt It Cheap, but they don't make up for the laziness through the rest of the project. Overall, it's just average. I'm going with a 4.7 on this. And that's the bottom of the glass. Comment what you thought of this album down below. I appreciate you watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Peace.